Lord. Well, hello, everybody. This is Valerie, Illumination Portal, and that is Diana.
Hi.
Diana Foles, also known as Oilpntr. And today, I put on the description, it was a special edition for the Coping in Chaos series because today we have a super full moon in Sagittarius. And there's some things going on. So Diana's going to explain what's coming at her.
Right. Okay. So, what is a super moon? It's when let me read what I wrote because
I'm the
my
same.
brain is still okay. So, it is when the moon's orbit is in its closest position to the earth and at the same time that it's a full moon. And the Native Americans give all the full moons a name, and this is called strawberry moon, not just because it turns pink, but strawberries are in season in Michigan. So this is a lot of it is based on Ojibwa, also called Chippewa, and Potawatomi tribes from around this area, like the sturgeon moon and the wolf moon and the buck moon. Next month is the buck moon. The deer's antlers will start to reach their growth for the year, and that purple velvet will start to change as they start to rub their antlers on the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So, marking territory, etc., getting ready for their mating season. So, anyways, the problem I'm having with this personally is because I'm a Gemini. So the sun is Gemini, and the sun is still sitting pretty close to my birth moon, my birth sun at 18 degrees. And I'm a Gemini born under a Sagittarius full moon. So that's not necessarily the problem because I live with this on a daily basis. I'm pretty used to giving in to me because both of those signs are mutable. But the biggest problem with today for everybody would be the talent square. You think back, I started calling the T square the talent square because so many people who are successful have these T squares in their chart. Now, the issue with this particular talent square is it's another mutable sign. It's Pisces. It's Neptune in Pisces. And now we have air sucking the water up, blowing the breeze, evaporating the surface, moving that water around. Then we have fire, bubbling things around, creating steam for the air to absorb, right? And then we have water, who wants to just flow and meander and stay as stable as water can be. And so myself today, I mean, my normal morning is go walk 3 to 4 miles, take the dogs around the lake, especially at this time of the year. And I couldn't even concentrate on that. And I'm at the water. So I came home after doing close to 2 miles. And I'm just migrating around the yard. Do I want to mow the lawn? No, it's too muggy. I need to wait till later tonight. Do I want to get into digging in the dirt? No, not really. So eventually I took a look at my teenager's kitchen and decided, okay, stick your hands in the water and do the dishes. And that was when I finally went and started to be able to truly focus on something, because I have what is called a splash chart. My planets go pretty much all over. It's not that they're unstable, but I make a splash where I go, right? That's why I was a good 4-year-old teacher, because they need that. They need somebody to hold their attention. And I give out bits and pieces of information to trigger your interest for you to go to find out more. So today, sticking my hands in the water seemed to be the only thing that really calmed all of that lack of focus, because now I was in the flow. I felt like the little girl that I still have inside of me when she just got to be old enough to do the dishes at the sink, right? Not just my play dishes, but my mom's dishes. And she would stand me on a chair, and I was maybe
Mhm.
4 years old,
Mhm.
4, 5, 6, 7, till I was 12, and now it's a chore. I don't want to do this no more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it was what brought all of that mutability together, because with my hands in the water, I still had the air above it,
Mm.
and I still had the fire warming the water to get the grease off the dishes and to clean the silverware and to clean the glasses. So if anybody's having a hard time today,
Mhm.
how is your chart affected by where the sun is, where the moon is, and where this Neptune is?
Yeah, it is. It's a very flighty day for me also. I'm not grounded. I mean, I kept trying to ground, and even I was even running late for this. And I'm, you know, not usually like that, but I couldn't focus. I couldn't get a hold of it. And this has been going on for a few days with me. You've been doing a lot of yard work too, so I don't think today you really got into it. You couldn't do it, you said.
No, I did stick one branch in the ground from a pussy willow that broke in a branch, and I stuck it in water and there's the water element again,
Yeah.
right? And my grandmother's house burnt down. And there's a big story with that, because I think I mentioned it before. Solanus Casey is a monk, a Benedictine monk that lived here and was in Detroit. And he is now buried here at St. Bonaventure's. And he is Detroit's saint. He is blessed, and is responsible for miracles, and he's about to be made a saint.
Oh, wow.
So I was 6 years old. He blessed me. He blessed my grandmother's house. It was the first time I ever saw a real monk. It wasn't just Saint Anthony or Saint Francis of Assisi or anybody else, Anthony Padua, or all the other saints in the Catholic Church that were friars that wore a monk's habit. And I was shocked, because here's this little frail looking man. Well, he was already old enough to be frail, wearing sandals and red horned rimmed glasses. And at my grandmother's house was in downtown Detroit, in an unsafe area, or what had turned into an unsafe area. And from the time he blessed that house, nothing ever went wrong in that house.
Wow.
Now, that's not,
Mm.
things didn't happen outside of the house.
Mhm.
And then, because they had gotten jumped and they had gotten beaten up and robbed. And as you're getting older in a ghetto area, you become more vulnerable, right?
Mhm.
So that house, the whole neighborhood started to go, to be torn down, because the Jeffries Freeway was getting put in for a direct route from the east side suburbs into downtown Detroit. And my grandmother's house and a smattering of other houses were still standing.
Mm.
And now my grandmother's house became the bootlegger's house, which was what she always called a house that was across the street from her, because during the days of Prohibition, it was the bootlegger's house.
Mm.
So this whole neighborhood has a very long, big, thick history, including with.
Mm.
So, anyways, Nana's house stood in that spot from sometime in late 1920s, early 1930s. And it had been moved from where it originally had been built. And it was still standing in spite of the whole neighborhood being razed for the most part. Changes in the street names. One was turned into a boulevard, and it just burnt down.
Mm.
And we kind of think it might have been a controlled burn because it was so abandoned and
Mhm.
had been through so much.
Mm.
And so many squatters come and go through the thing, et cetera, et cetera. So, anyways, my cousin and I went and started collecting bricks that were left.
Mm.
So I've been building Nana's garden, which is
Oh,
with these bricks from her house.
oh, how cool.
Right?
Yeah,
So that was very grounding for me. And
yeah.
this is going on since Memorial Day.
Oh, wow. That is really
And,
cool.
right. And so the past few days, now it was not just digging the hole anymore, but now doing all the other stuff. Some of the stuff had already been put in, but like yesterday, now I had things to do outside of the wall, which is put in seagrasses and a couple of yew bushes and stuff like that. So today I was just really looking forward to not doing any yard work, taking a break, letting my nails get clean. Well, thank you for sticking them in the dishwater because my
Yeah.
nails are clean. So anyway.
Yes, it gets. This is why we're having this coping during times of chaos thing. And thankfully, you're gracious enough to come and share your wisdom with us. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But uh, it is almost, it's almost surreal being in your daily life. If I'm not doing something like the garden or cleaning, I'm not really connected here. I'm not. And it does take you off of, you know, uh, I should say I'm used to it by now, but it does feel uncomfortable at first because you have no sense of, we're straddling that third dimension and higher. So we're always in these in and out spaces, right? And it's getting more and more uh, noticeable. I'm seeing a lot of people this affected as is affecting that it wasn't affecting recently. They weren't even thinking about it, but it just feels like you're on this time out of time space. And we have all this, okay, this astrology today with that full moon, super full moon in Sagittarius. It's all about knowing your truth and going in that direction, because Sagittarius is about following a direction, right? And that's our internal guidance. When you say is giving us those indicators, where is it that you're going? And I ask myself this question all the time, and I really don't know the answer.
Right.
So I like doing these because I like to hear everybody's what their advice is and what their guides are indicating to them. Oh
Right.
goodness, I should have said this is a spiritual channel. We're here to raise the vibration of the earth by raising our own individual vibrations.
Right.
But
Well,
Janet,
T-Barb.
Janet P. Andrea's here. And she says, my great grandmother's house has same history, including being moved and then surviving the building of the Jeffrey Freeway.
There you go.
I can't remember the name of the street, though. Kate is here. She said she's going to be in and out. Stephanie is here. Hi, Stephanie.
Hey,
Hi,
Steph. My
yeah,
grandmother lived on Tillman, Andrea, down by 23rd in Michigan.
that's so cool.
She's from Detroit, so she knows.
Yeah, she knows. She knows where you guys are
Right.
talking about.
We went to different schools together because she is a little bit younger than me.
Well, Also, Gemini. Geez, the moon is in Gemini, just so we know. The sun is in Gemini. See what I'm saying? This is like how I've been for days, and it
Right?
seems to be getting worse, which is scary. And the moon is in Sagittarius, but we also have a T square with Neptune, and something significant happened today. Do you want to talk about Yellowstone?
Oh,
Oh,
it actually happened yesterday. They closed
oh,
everything yesterday. I think the rains were, like in a 24-hour period. But if we think about this T square, we know that, the moon went into Sagittarius. It goes into Capricorn tonight at what did I write down? 6:14 today. It goes into Capricorn. So approximately a day and a half ago or so is when the Sag moon
started. Yeah.
started. So it was already getting into position for this T square, to be exact. And we have this torrential downpour. Yellowstone never's been closed before, to my knowledge. Couldn't find anything online that said it had been. And the roads are being washed out. There's landslides going on. There's all this flooding going on. And I read just a caption on an article just before I tapped into you, which was, "Can Yellowstone be saved?"
Wow.
Now, I didn't dive into it, and that might have just been here. Let's hook you on the line and
Yeah.
come read this article. But
Like a lot of the news is, and that's another
yeah,
good point.
yeah.
That's
I don't
another.
even know who put it out there. If it was Reuters or if it was Apple News. I don't know where it even came from, so I don't even know where to go looking for it.
Well, that's a good point, though. Is
Mm-hmm.
in discerning the information
Mm-hmm.
that we ingest. Like
Right.
your guides are one thing, and it's you get to the point where you can discern your guides. And then you got the outside and the external coming at you, and you have to really take your time and discern, is this worth my time to even investigate?
So when you put the moon over water, what does it control? What does it do to the water?
High
Tide,
tide. Yeah.
right? High tide, low tide, depending on where the moon is. Is it high tide or low tide? So consider that it's a supermoon at its closest position to the earth that it can be during this time. And it's creating this deluge, this big wave of water, albeit coming not just from the sky, but something has to be going on with the lakes around there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Neptune coming into play, providing a challenge for the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the missing element or missing sign in this T square? There is no earth. We have air, we have fire, and we have water.
Wow.
And the water is working in tandem with the other two things to wash out the roads, close the park.
Yeah. And this is the first of 4 super full moons. We're going to have 4 or 3. Next 3.
It's usually 4 or 3, but I think this year we only have 2. This one and the one in July.
Really?
What we've had are the 2 eclipses, and we have another eclipse coming on November 8th, which is a full moon eclipse.
Maybe I read it for a different year. I was looking up today's astrology, though. Let's see.
Yeah, 2021.
Okay, did I do it? Okay, I'm sorry about
because
that.
I was looking also, and like, I looked at stuff and I went, there's only 2 this year. There's only 2 super moons this year. So I was looking also, and that was what first popped up was 21. And I'm looking at the dates, and it still didn't register
Okay.
that it was for 2021. It was for
Yes, that's the same thing I was having. I was looking up and I'm like, what? This is today's chart, isn't it? For this
right.
year, isn't it? Isn't it? And it's like,
Yeah, I even wrote it down because it's February, March, and April. And I went, wait a minute, we didn't have a supermoon in February. We didn't have one in March. April? Heck no, it wasn't a supermoon. What?
okay.
April 8th? No, the full moon wasn't April 8th.
Okay. Well, this is in real time. See how distorted. I mean, and this is just an astrology thing. This isn't anything that's super important. I mean, astrology, but yeah, your mind can't like, or at least my mind and Diana's minds are having a hard time focusing in and just honing in on something and going with it. Now, I told her I can be right before when we were talking, I said I could be off of this planet all day long, but as soon as I am here, I have to be cleaning or physically doing something to focus here. The Sagittarius is all about the truth too. So you have this confusion coming in, this confusion energy around us, but we're really trying to focus in on the truth, like January 6th, right?
Right, which brings us to Mercury is at 0 degrees, and at 2:30 this afternoon, he was at 0 degrees, 52 minutes of Gemini. So here comes the information, right? And the information began last week, Thursday. And so now here comes the information. And Sagittarius is controlled by Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing a bigger picture.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And this
Especially
isn't
with what if you listened yesterday. Oh my goodness.
yeah. And that's going to be that way for what the next few months. So figure, okay, we're in this full moon portal. So the whole time this is going on, and Diana, we're talking about this too earlier. It seems awfully obvious that they chose these days to start the January 6th committee hearings. They're all about the truth. They're all about revealing information that hasn't been revealed before.
Yeah,
So,
Freemasons founded this nation. You better believe they pay attention to numerology and astrology.
yeah. And so we're going to all be hearing things, right? We're going to be hearing things and we already know it was bad, okay, in our group, our community. But we're even going to be shocked, I think. We're going to have some things coming out. And again, it's good. We got to know it, so we can do better. Those of us who are on that path of doing better for the people, by the people, as a nation, right?
Right.
And go ahead. So
No, I was just going to say, there's a lot of ascension going on. There's people stuck in the mud, but there is a lot of ascension going on. So whatever little things you have sensed, they could start to get bigger, and you can maybe finally identify them as part of an ascension. Now, that I feel earthquakes pretty much all over. I know my ear is bugging me and I know I'm treating it, but that's got nothing to do with it because this has been going on much longer than my ear bugging me now, having a sinus infection, whatever. So on last week, one day I was going down with my cousins to get more bricks from my grandmother's house. And the drive from my house to my cousin's is about an hour. And I couldn't handle the drive. I couldn't breathe correctly. I kept doing this deep breathing. I kept going into my yoga breath, my meditation breath, and I couldn't make myself stop. But every time I went to pull over so I could pull myself together, it would pass and my breathing would return to normal on its own. And, you know, I'm on the freeway, so like, where am I going to pull over anyway? Luckily, I was on one of the better behaved freeways. So I would just keep going. And then as I would go again, all these downloads started coming in, or the breathing would begin. And I know that something's going on, but I can't just think, okay, what is it? What is it? What is it? So I started calling in all my angels to take the wheel, because if I went to pull over, you made me get better. And it was like, I got to keep going. I got to get to my destination. I can't sit on the side of the road here. Sooner or later, the cops are going to show up and ask me if I need help. What am I going to tell them? You know?
Yeah.
So I got to my cousin's house and I basically had a meltdown and a panic attack. I just burst into tears. I had never had a panic attack before, so I didn't know what that was. I'd never identified that before. So we started looking up, and there had been 10 earthquakes during that time. Now, I have to say, and some aftershocks from the two that caused the landslides in China. The aftershocks from that was going on that day. It was the day after that. And so I believe that it was part of the ascension for me.
Yes.
Understand how to deal with these things while in motion, because I don't usually sense them while I'm in motion. When I'm driving the car, I'm focused on blessing the other drivers so that they, you know, get off my tail.
Yeah. And it works beautifully, doesn't it? That's a good tip he's given us. Bless those drivers in the roads. Yeah.
I bless the trees to keep the animals safely tucked into the trees and snuggled in the shrubs below. Bless the drivers. Put me in the teal green orb, the healing orb of Raphael, that transfers while it floats and shares the divine white light, the white light of divine guidance and grace. And then I bless every direction before I start driving, before I back out of the driveway.
And that is the only way to start driving now, because of what Diana's saying. We are getting downloads and different skills and abilities. God, who knows how many there are of us soul.
Yeah, exactly. And I find it uncanny that so yesterday, while we were in session with each other, Andrea was reading on me, and we were doing a session about getting a message from your spirit's journey, from your soul's journey, right? And she saw me as a helicopter, like the whirligig off the maple tree that turned into an oak when it would grow. And she pretty much had it right, because that's kind of what my chart is like. That's kind of what I'm like.
Yeah.
Right. And oh my gosh, I forgot where I was going with that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay,
we'll
see
come
that?
back.
We're back at that last few minutes of the T-square here. Anyway,
this is what's happening to us. So this is really good that everybody can see and know that we all are getting affected by this. These energies are very intense, you know, and we are on it's kind of opening the door right now. Like there's another door opening. Let me just put it that way, because we're constantly in portals. Doors are constantly opening and closing, and we are leveling up again. But
Right.
this time with new skills and abilities, because Diana, she may have had that ability to feel earthquakes or know when tornadoes were coming before, but maybe not like could put it into words why she was feeling that way. But now she knows. She
Right.
knows what it feels
Right.
like now, and go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, no. Because what Andrea had picked up on, and Angie got me the next time, and she picked up on some of the same kind of thing. And this is where my head is at now. And she picked up on that right now. It's going to be going on for another week for me, probably, because I'm getting ready to go on a big trip for my son's wedding. So, anyway, what I was driving at before with what Andrea and Angela saw is I am definitely a hand mover, rotator,
Yeah.
Move the energy. When I have things to say, I move my hands. When I'm in prayer, I move my hands. Which direction am I going? Am I putting it out there for others, or am I needing to bring it in for myself? So when I ask for blessing on the drivers, if there's somebody on my tail, I do the blessing that Raphael gave to me and throw it over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's uncanny how they back off.
Yeah.
It's like it hits them. So there is power in moving the energy in front of you, period, by using a hand motion for yourself as you're getting ready. How many of us hold our hands up when we're in prayer, when we're in receptive mode, when we are setting out an intention? So many of us do that. So we can add more hand motions to that to pile it in an air.
Yeah.
Get it in a whole ball of wax.
Yeah, you can do that, right?
Yes.
This is when you're playing with the energy, you can make energy balls, right, with your hand. I can feel the heat just pouring out of me.
Yes.
Say your shoulder hurts, right? You do this for a few minutes, put it on your shoulder. Or if someone else is hurting, do this for a few minutes, and that energy is, you can feel it. I'm pouring love in between my hands, unconditional love, right? This is, again, you are not really conscious that you were doing this all the time, or this, now we're noticing, or we're gods are making us aware, or our other light worker friends, love worker friends are helping us figure our gifts out, right? I mean, we are a very powerful bunch of beings, the light worker, love worker, soulless, heart-centered, soul-centered beings are waking up to so much now that they're realizing that this is magic. This energy is all around us. It's creational energy, and we can directed to the cars in front of us and behind us, the animals, wherever we want. We've been practicing this in our groups, but I think once everybody kind of wakes up to this, what a way to know that you have some sort of power, right? In energetically, in your beingness, in your energy columns, to really be able to cope in chaotic times, because once you get that, I really don't have the problem on the spiritual realm. It's the third dimensional realm where I'm like, what am I doing here? And I just kind of flit out. and I just go back to the magic, you know, and it's
You
not
call
always
me witch.
you call me what?
Call me witch. You
Call
can
me
call me witch. I love it. There's a broom in every room. I'm not kidding.
No, and
You go
it's
with all my crystals and everything
yeah,
else. There's a broom in every room in case I have to sweep something out here
yeah.
or
And
jump on it fast and ride.
jump on it and leave. But I mean, the everything just okay, just like that as an example. Anything that you have can be used to increase your energy, your
Right.
magic, right? It does
As a part of manifestation.
right.
You know, when I first moved back to Michigan, I walked down courts in Virginia for 30 years. It's everywhere.
Mm,
Now you're by the ocean, so you're going to feel it differently than I did living in Chantilly. Chantilly's
mm,
not that far away from Luray Cavern, and it's got caverns all around there. And I could go digging in my backyard and pull up quartz. We used to, well, the southern people call them Indian bullets because there's little chips of quartz everywhere that kind of look like arrowheads. They're not arrowheads, but they kind of look like it. So they called them Indian bullets. And so, actually, when I was getting ready to move, the guy who came and helped me paint the house on the inside brought me one from Tennessee.
oh,
He was from and said, "Here, this is your good luck charm for your future."
see?
I thought was very nice of him.
Yeah.
So, and yes, I still have it, of course. But I had an 80-foot circumference medicine wheel that I had
Oh,
outlined almost exclusively with quartz that I had gotten out of the ground from there. And I showed you one yesterday that weighs 15 pounds. It's the only one that I brought with me
I don't know.
because I couldn't take them all. I could put them in a pod, but it would need a pod of its own, right? And then, I had some garnet and I had some pink quartz as well. But most of them were quartz, yellow quartz, headed towards crystalline. And I bet if you go take a look at your sand, you'll begin to start noticing
Mhm.
the pieces that are the quartz, the ones that haven't broken down completely by the shore and the wave being hit completely, continuously. So after, growing up in Michigan, in Detroit, there was water, but not like there is now where I'm living. I'm in a rural area in the Thumb area in the Saginaw, close to the Saginaw Bay. And tons of inland lakes around here. On the bigger side, some of them are 80 feet deep, 90 feet deep.
Wow.
Some of them are on the smaller side, but there is a ton of them. So coming back here, I had to learn how to walk on water all over again.
Mm.
After walking on that stabilizing quartz foundation, that doesn't mean Michigan doesn't have quartz. It's just, it has another element also that is prevalent compared to the way it is in Virginia, particularly the area that I was in. Albeit having been part of the ocean at one time, there was an area where I walked where the stones were just amazing, and that they were tops of mountains at once upon a time. And DC is built on a swamp, and I was like 25 miles away from DC.
And so is Virginia Beach. It's built on a swamp too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
isn't
Outer Banks? Oh, yeah.
yeah? How long does Outer Banks really have? We don't know.
Is Duck Island okay this year?
Right? But that is what you're saying though. The elements are all around us. Nature is all around us, and we can utilize these elements. You don't have to know anything about magic or witchcraft. You can pick up rocks and make a circle and say, this is my healing circle. Whatever you say You know, our words, we speak that's spelling, right? That's how you make a spell. You speak it
Right,
into
right.
existence.
If
So
you could read, you could spell.
right. And you can speak it, and that is, you are your own authority. This is your vicinity. This is my vicinity, and I control that. And if I say XYZ, this rock is healing me, it does, you know, which I've done. This is one of my healing stones. It's a shungite. But it doesn't have to be hard or complicated, or, you know, you got to have 9 candles on the ninth day. I mean, those spells uh, can be, of course, they can be useful,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're
I'm doing
fun.
one right now with Nancy Jean.
Oh,
I like
nice.
doing them with her. When she does hers, I mean, I do other candle work as well, but when she does sets out with an intention, I specifically do a 9 candle with her.
I did not know that. I'm gonna have to look it up. Look at her, because I used to. Well, I was frustrated when I was awakening. You know, well, I still get frustrated. So, but I'd be like to my guides, just give me the straight. Just give it to me, like, so I get it, and it's fast, and it, you know, it can can help me. Like, I need help now, not 9 days or 90 days. I need help now. You know. So they would give me these little things to say and do, and they always worked. But now that I am calmer, and I understand focusing your attention for that 9 days with those 9 candles is so
Right,
beautiful. You know, really is.
right, and it's being in the present moment as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
because it makes you stop and focus.
yes,
It makes you stop and set intention.
yeah.
And if you notice, I'm not in the Moon Lodge.
I noticed.
I broke my own rule and started doing this in the Moon Lodge. And my rule for the Moon Lodge is no electronics.
Okay.
And yeah, everybody was getting a little mad at me.
Oh, so you really felt the difference of having the electronics
Yeah,
and not?
yeah.
Okay.
So tonight is going to be a big smudge
Yeah. Is
because
that
back into the stabilizing of Capricorn tonight with the moon.
mhm.
And it's going to be, you know, like probably a little wedge missing off the edge.
Mm.
So it's the witch's full moon
Mhm.
the day after.
And well, the full moon was, what was that, 7:40? It was exact like 7:49 this morning, East Coast. So we are past it, but that energy is still powerful.
Oh,
For, yeah.
still
For,
right till 6:14 when it goes into Capricorn, and then
mhm.
give it an hour to be at 0 degrees.
Yeah. And
So it'll
and
still be within orb, because if you're considering the astrology, when you look at the 3 biggies, your sun sign, moon sign, and rising sign, most astrologers give a 10-degree orb.
mhm.
So
Yeah. And this one is oh goodness, what did I want to say about tonight? Tonight, or anytime from now, or you may have already done it today, this is a good moon to clear out. To, if you want to change a habit, break a habit, you know, it
right,
it's not time to plant the seeds, right?
right. We
Okay,
just had 2 eclipses, correct?
right.
We had an eclipse in May on the 16th, and we
Hmm.
have that other one coming up on November 8th. We had
I think it was April 30th
yeah, April 30th. There
was
was
the
an eclipse.
Taurus.
So this is going along with that. And what's next? The solstice.
Those-
So it's witchy time.
Yes, it is. And that's only what, a week away, right? Uh,
Well, there's a 5-day period where it's the sun just kind of
stop.
it's illusion that it's just hanging in the sky, because
Right.
of course it isn't. But from the 18th till um, 24th.
21st,
The
24th?
21st is the solstice, but 2 days before and 2 days after.
Okay, okay.
So there's a 5-day period in there, right? And so that's what Nancy Jean's 9 candles are for, the solstice. It's about, what am I grateful for? This time her intentions were twofold. What am I grateful for, and what am I letting go of?
Oh, nice. And that's really always, but this, when we're at a solstice or an equinox, right?
Mm-hmm.
This summer solstice, that is very powerful energy. And it helps you to assist in creating your manifestations. Um, it's a powerful time to use these energies.
Mm-hmm.
Diana and I are about the new moon, full moon, and we even do other parts of the moon too, because the moon is always in some some sort of growth or
Yeah, because think about it. You can do, with, when it comes to moon rituals, you can do a 30-day cycle. You can, you can do a quarter moon cycle. You can do all kinds of things. You can do a 9-month cycle. You can do, and that's, here's the new moon, and the quarter moon is 9 months later, and the 18 months later is the full moon, and then the 18 months, the 9 months later is the final quarter, and then
Mhm,
you're back to the beginning again.
mhm,
So you can do it for months, you can do it for years, you can do it for weeks, you can do it for
mhm.
days,
Yeah,
you
because we
can
have
do
different
it with
levels,
for your birth,
right? And we do. We have different levels of our intentions, right?
Mhm.
So depending on what you are creating, or if it's about ascension, which I'm always utilizing these energies for ascension, because to me that energy is so beautiful, just to be there and i-
Well, and if you
immerse
think
yourself in
back,
it.
let's think back to religion
Mm,
and the pagan um, practice of 9 candles, right? 8
mhm,
for the ritual leading up to the day of the quickening, the ninth day, the ninth month, the
mhm,
day of the birth, or whatever, right?
mhm,
In the Catholic Church, and probably
mhm,
other, like Lutheran, and anything that would be following along those lines, it's a 9-day novena,
mhm,
which is light a candle, say a rosary or a prayer, blah blah blah, right?
mhm,
So it's still basically the same thing. It's finding that storage unit inside of you
mhm,
where it just is there and present, because you were so present in the moment you were doing this, that you have a storage spot for it, so you can go on about the day doing other things, and
right.
that energy is still in you, providing you with the balance and the stabilization that you might need just with your daily chores or your job, or driving through traffic.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, I think this is one of the main points of ascension, is that you are that powerful in your energetic, in your magical beingness energetically, that you can mold pretty much every moment of your life into a magical moment. I mean,
Right.
it is so easy, yet it sounds ridiculous. It doesn't sound, nothing could be that easy. But religion came in, took the nature, it was nature stuff, right? And
Right.
all those nature spirits following the seasons, the elements,
Right.
and they made it so confusing and so distorted that everybody, well, many of us thought, oh, I'm never going to make it. And then they tell you, well, you're going to go to hell anyway. So why even bother? You're just like, what the hell? Uh,
Exactly.
So we are coming back into the knowing that are we are all sovereign beings of love, but we
Right.
are our own power.
And I love the word that you used, mold. mold yourself, mold your energy, be the best you can be.
Yeah.
We can go to the astrology chart to see the best of our rising, the best of the moon, the best of your sun, the best of your north node. Never sell the north node short. By being the best, then you are here doing exactly what you agreed to come down here to do anyway.
Exactly.
Which is to strive to be the best that you can, to ascend, to be your highest self, so you don't have to come back again. I can't believe that the Catholic Church tried to make everybody believe that you don't have another chance. You go to hell, you go to limbo and get lucky, then you go to hell, and then maybe you go to heaven. Or you go to hell, maybe you go to, I don't know, I can't even remember. It's been so long. But there was limbo. And then there was, and limbo was, and then the babies that weren't baptized.
That's so sad. It's so sad how
they miscarriage and it's.
But they tortured people. Some of those people, right. I mean, for what, how many thousands of years, and people actually believed that and suffered, suffered greatly with their rest of their life here. And I know it angers you, it angers me, what organized religion did to humanity, really.
Right.
And they stole all the stuff that they have off of the pagans.
Well, you have to laugh because it was illegal for a witch to do any dowsing. But what did they do? But they would do witch dowsing, right? So they tied them to a chair and dropped them into the water. If they survived, they were a witch. If they drowned, oops, sorry. But we doused because we needed to know.
That's another good point, though. Dowsing, use your pendulums. If you're feeling stuck at all.
I was going to bring my rods and I forgot to.
Oh, cool. But a pendulum, a necklace, anything that swing, just connect with, put it in your hands and connect it to your heart.
Ask
and just ask, say, only now when you're asking, how do I know who I'm talking to? Well, that used to be my big question. How do I know that, so I always say, is this my highest self of the highest vibration of unconditional love and truth? This way, you get the answers you need. If anybody needs help with the pendulum, please comment. We'll gladly help you. It is so important though, right now to maintain that control of yourself.
And Nancy has a whole lot of charts
for a pendulum.
Right. And just, if it was last week, she had found a website that was French. It was called, if anybody's in the chat, who knows? Juno, are you there?
Sarah's here, though. Sarah might know. Andrea. It was a French website?
CLAIR-E-TEA. I can't remember what it's called. But there were many different charts on this website. So I'm sure if you start Googling, you can get these other charts. What's good about the chart is if you're trying to set a timeline, it can help you with that. If you're, all these different charts do different things.
Okay.
Plus, Danny helped Nancy Jean came up with one for her stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and see, a lot of the creators in the YouTube community of art, spiritual community that we all know and love and we watch, everybody has got beautiful ideas to bring yourself back into yourself.
Right. Right.
Be your authentic self. That's one thing the Sagittarius full moon is saying. You follow your heart and be your authentic self, and you'll never get confused on your path.
Right.
It is so important. I just hope people, anybody needs help, please reach out. There's a, oh, my website is at the bottom. I also have, and I didn't put your website on, I'm sorry, your email for your cards, because
Oh,
we're gonna do a video
you will.
live on her CLAIR-E-TEA cards. Cards are beautiful,
Thank you.
Diana's cards, and she's gonna explain them all, go through them with us, and we'll do that when she gets back from her vacation sometime.
Or even maybe one day next week when I have to take, like, stop packing, quit the laundry, sit down, put my feet up, pack,
Okay, yeah.
and
If you have the time and you feel that it won't interfere, we could do live anytime, anytime. And
all right.
just to help people get through. And her cards are beautiful. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll do some readings too. We can pull some cards and read for some people if they would like a reading. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to talk about on the full moon tonight?
Well, just stay connected with yourself, with your inner soul first. By doing that, by staying present with you, you will be present for others.
Mm.
By staying present for yourself, with you, you will know when stranger danger is near.
That's right.
Unless it's part of your soul's contract to not know. But very seldom is that the case.
Yeah.
It's learning to, by being present with yourself, you learn to read the energies of others better.
Absolutely.
Because, right, if
Yeah.
you are working at your highest self, anything at a frequency below will not harmonize.
That's right.
What isn't right will not harmonize. It will hurt your ears.
That's an excellent point. When Dinah says it won't harmonize, because we are vibrating at a certain rate. Once you know yourself and you understand yourself and you're connected to your heart, and you have your heart and your mind connected and everything's working right, when something comes in your frequency that is off, you will get those, something's not right here. Don't discount that feeling. I know I can't tell you how many times I discounted that feeling before I understood myself. And every time I paid for that, not listening to your gut, to your intuition. So important. That's an excellent point, Diana. It's so true.
I was a teacher of 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds for 30 years, 25 definitely, in 20 years in one school. And plus raised my own. So I was in the professional at herding cats. And anybody want to teach you how to get times of chaos, learn how to herd cats, right?
Right.
And so as I was getting ready to leave Virginia and knowing it was time for me to retire and knowing that Virginia is so expensive, not that Michigan's cheap, but Virginia is so expensive.
Oh, yeah,
That
especially
I would still be working.
Ah.
And I'm not sure of the future of my school because right now they've lost the building, which was a historic piece of property. And now I don't know where they're going. And they're supposed to go in a church and then they have to clean up everything and it's like it's gotten very chaotic.
Right.
But I was in tune with picking up on all of this energy before I left there. And then my ex-husband had gotten ill with cancer. And when he passed, I knew that, okay, this is it. I'm out of here. And so when I got here, it was the end of August of 2019. And it was still another 2-3 weeks before my pods got here with my possessions. So I had nothing to do.
Mm.
And so I just went and learned about the lake and got the license plate and the P put on that so I could go into the state park. Problem, blah, blah, blah. And then the holidays came. So now I'm entertaining. My family's coming up for the holidays. We're having a great holiday. And then COVID hits.
Mm.
But you know what? After herding cats for 25 years and being married to my husband, knowing him for 30 years, being married to him for 25, yeah, I was ready to sit down.
Yeah.
I had to be pushed down, and this was something that luckily for me pushed me down, because like I said, there's that Gemini with Mercury and Gemini, you know. So I got to clean and figure out and paint a mural for the bird and figure out where things were going to go and get it unpacked and all the things that you have to do when you move in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then that, and I had never really watched YouTube prior to that time.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't go out and
Either.
make friends because nobody could go anywhere.
Oh, my goodness.
My best friend was the guy at the Subaru dealership, because every time I needed the oil change, that's where I went. I didn't want to take any chances because there's no Dr. Wash here, and there's no Jiffy Lube. There's no Jiffy Lube, no place to trust nobody, right? So,
oh, man.
Not that you can trust Jiffy Lube, I'm sure, but at least you know you're going to get your oil changed and they'll put the cap back on right so it isn't leaking.
Right.
Anyway, so like he was my best friend. There was nobody else around here to talk to because my neighbors would go to Florida for the winter. So that was that, right? And then when they came back, they came back and sold the house and stay at their place up in Munising, which is a peninsula. Anyway, but being a blue dot in the Red Sea, it's okay that they weren't around all the time. But nice people just the same. Anyway, so that worked out for me because it forced me to do things I had to do.
Right.
And then YouTube kept me sane.
Yes.
From not having any friends to play with.
And now,
right. And now look.
Yeah.
All my best friends are on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but it's so beautiful because you're right. You know, like that hard, okay, you're in lockdown, figure out. I was like you. I never stopped before. I never really connected to myself fully. I was at that point, but I wasn't as much as I learned how to be during COVID. You know.
Well, waitress, you're herding cats too.
Yeah.
Bartender, and I was that for 20 years before I started teaching. So from the time I was 21 till I shouldn't say 40 years. I was 30, I guess 21 to 35. I tended bar.
Yeah.
And before that, I was a waitress.
Yeah.
That's somewhere in there. I was a counselor for abused and neglected children as well.
Oh my goodness.
When did I do that? I was pregnant with my last child.
You had a diverse life, though, right? And that led those skills led you to where you're at now. You went through COVID, like a lot of us did, and here's how we met. I wasn't on YouTube this much either. I was working a lot. I wasn't really, here. I was on here very rare, but X45 really was getting to me, and thankfully I found all of you and I found all the readers, and I was like, it gave you hope, and then you meet people and you actually we do hang out. We all have we have a psychic practice thanks to Andrea. Anybody who wants to join, we can always get you with Andrea and see, if you'd like to come and practice with us. We do that twice a week. It's a lot of fun and it keeps your skills set up. Because we're all learning. We're all learning all these. Let me say we're remembering, because I think we already know this somewhere deep in us, but we just never had the opportunity to get connected as we are now.
Right. Tell Andrea to put her email in the chat to make sure that everybody can reach out to her if they want to become involved.
All right, Andrea, if you can, if she was traveling to the doctor.
Oh,
but if you can hear this, Andrea, put your email up here. So if anyone wants to join your psychic practice and
or
hang out with us.
you can probably attach it after.
Well, I can put it.
Right?
Do we know her? Do you know her email off?
Well, yeah, a gal.
A gal.
Hold on. Let me just. Oh, my phone is right here. I can look it up. See, here we go again.
Where am I?
Oh my
I've
God.
been like that.
Nobody's thinking fast today.
No, not me.
Stop.
For sure.
I
know I have it. I don't know why I asked you. I know I have it.
Okay, here we go. Are you listening?
Yes.
AGAL. AGAL. 219.
219.
At AOL.com.
All righty. AOL.com. Okay, so that is. Oh, let me put that. Yeah, because that is a lot of fun that we can hang out and practice our gifts.
Right. And Angie yesterday, she saw me doing all of this stuff. And she's right. And so she started doing some Reiki on my ear. And then she said she was going to put me in her rotation. And I'm interested to know what times, or does she just do it randomly during the day? Or because there's been a couple of times where I felt the whole ball of wax moving finally.
Oh, really? Yeah, definitely. I would text her and see, was there a certain time? She's so powerful. And we all are, and we all have our own unique specific gifts to ourselves, but we're sharing them with others. And she does Reiki. There's a few Reiki healers. Do you have Reiki certificate or
no? And that's something I should do. I'm a yoga instructor, but I don't teach because I discovered that I lose my voice. I want to do it. I need to do the movements, and so I lose my voice. And I was very dissatisfied with the group of people that I trained with.
Wow.
It turned out to be something other than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting, which is, here's your lesson about expectation and not doing enough research.
Right.
I was expecting the holistic feeling that you get centering in your chakra alignments and the connection between you and spirit. And what the yoga is, a Sanskrit word for yoke, and how it really feels when you yoke breath to movement, thought, breath to movement to mind, breath to movement to mind. Yes, you can do that with every exercise. But this is designed differently. In fact, if you don't move correctly with your breath, you're going to injure yourself no matter what exercise you're doing. when
True.
you're doing it right, you're getting the best benefits. But yoga is a different philosophy to begin with. And it turned out to be a training for hot yoga that
Mm,
I that hadn't had was just coming into the new.
mhm.
It wasn't what's his face, whose name shall not be mentioned, and some of the other ones, but this was a new method. And
Mm.
um and actually it was nationwide, but the guy's from Michigan. He's originally from Hawaii, but he is also from Michigan.
Mm.
And he has a big studio down in Birmingham. But yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting to learn more about the spirituality of that yoke of breath to movement to mind.
Yeah.
And there was very little of that actually.
Yeah. What's
And
the
well, and when I would set the intention and speak in my language, it got 86th by the instructor.
Hmm.
Yet, wait a minute, this is kind of along the lines how other people are doing it, and I'm the teacher, and you're telling me I can't. Wait a minute, I'm a teacher. So I was losing my voice under that guise, right?
Yeah.
And then I just discovered that no, I don't want to teach yoga because anywhere I go, hot yoga is becoming the thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's not yoga.
Yeah. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I wouldn't
But
do it. It
that's like
seems
CrossFit.
dangerous. Yeah, it seems dangerous to me to get that
Right,
overheated.
right. Oh,
While
that's the other thing because I also have systemic lupus
yeah.
and I can't get overheated.
Right.
I can dance all night long in a bar with a rock and roll band to beat your socks off,
Mm.
but it's air conditioned.
Yeah.
But to be on a yoga mat
Mm-mm.
3 inches away from somebody else on a yoga mat in a
Mm-mm.
room that's been blasted up to 98 degrees,
Yeah.
102 degrees, not in your life. I can't breathe.
It just it sounds too dangerous to me.
Right.
It's
So
yeah,
not only does
never
the
did
cold
it.
sweat going everywhere.
Right. But that's another good point though. The last couple of years has brought us to that point of
Was this
discernment. Yeah, when we are interested in doing something, uh, now I think our guides pretty much guide us in the right direction. But before it was like you have to learn for yourself so you can know this feeling
right?
and know how to use it in the future.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel with that because I know I made a lot of questionable decisions that I wish I knew or investigated. But then again, you can't really fault
No,
yourself because experience is everything. And to know,
life, right? Life is a curve.
yeah,
There is nothing linear in life.
no,
Starting with time, it's all ever present.
yeah, the time is another thing. Well, I am so grateful that you came on and we talked about
Oh,
this.
yeah, this was great. It was invigorating. Thank you. Thank
And
you for
I
inviting me.
feel more grounded.
Well,
See?
yeah, and then I put my palm stone in my hand too. That helped a lot.
Yeah.
And 45 minutes will be in Capricorn. Oh, no, an hour. It's 5:13.
She's just counting down that what degree was it, Sagittarius on your moon? Your full moon in Sagittarius.
My full moon Sagittarius is 4 degrees.
Okay. So you felt that was really
Which,
you
so it
yesterday.
was right at the beginning because my sun is at 18 degrees,
Yeah.
right? So when on the day I was born. So today was my moon day, but
Yeah.
because it didn't coincide this year. Some years it does. Anyway, yeah, so at the next day it was probably right on my moon.
Right.
And
That's
maybe on my sun and that would have been after the fact because I was already alive, right? I mean, I've
right.
been on Earth for let's say 24 hours before it hit that same spot.
Yeah. It's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
When you know your chart
It
again.
fills up, but
Yeah. Again, everybody, get your charts done. Know your natal chart.
right,
It'll help you navigate, especially these next few
right.
years. And Diana
Yeah.
always says that it's half of it gives you half of the information you know. It's at least a starting point.
Right. And there's many free websites out there, and Cafe Astrology is or Astrology Cafe, however you say it, is a great place to get tons of information. I created my own textbooks out of that website because
Great.
I got textbooks, but you
I-
read 8 paragraphs and
You don't need all of it. Yeah, so she puts in the books what she wants to know about and
right,
makes sense out
right,
of it.
right. And
Fascinating.
it's ongoing, and I can add anything anytime I want.
Mhm.
Though now, like, you just get in the habit of remembering more.
Yeah.
Have more room because that other stuff is already in storage banks.
Yeah, this isn't it the truth? And this is what makes you so magical. You are all of us, but you have your own ways of accumulating your magic, putting it in the books, making different creative artistic things. You just so many things. So and her
Well,
cards, I'm gonna love her cards next week.
right.
Very
If you
much.
want to learn the card, if you want to learn astrology, no, they're not so handy right now. They're over on the other side of the room. If you want to learn astrology and you're creative, make yourself some altered art flashcards. I did that, and that was how I got, okay, this sign, this house, this meaning, this
Mhm,
cardinal,
mhm.
and so on and so forth with all of them, whether it was an aspect or all that stuff. So
Yeah, there's just so much to do. I mean, there's so much magically that we can do to add to our journey and the joy of our journey. Let me put it that way, because we all like certain modalities and tools to play with,
right,
and a lot of this stuff that Diana is talking about, that doesn't cost you anything to get a chart, make your own cards up,
right,
um,
right,
do the art.
right. Cut up old magazines for your own Sabian images for what a sign represents for you, stuff like that.
Oh, I like that
Well,
idea.
that's how I made those cards. That's
Ah,
how I made my flashcards, with all the pictures on it.
yeah.
Just cut up catalogs and magazines and came up with everything.
Very cool. She's so creative. You're so creative. She's always creating in her garden, or if it's art or whatever. But you're always creating, always, and that's that.
We all are.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. You really are like above, kind of above. You know what I mean? In
Thank
fact,
you.
I want to talk to you after this about cards.
Okay.
But we are gonna go, and we will see you next week. We're gonna go, if she has the time, we're gonna do a live on her CLAIR-E-TEA oracle cards.
All
But we
right.
love you, and I hope everybody has a wonderful new full moon in Sagittarius.
Blessings.
Blessings and love. Love you. Thank you.